4 o'clock, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order.
Yes, Mom.
You do not have to read it.
Welcome to the May 23rd, 2023 meeting of the San Bernardino Community College Board of Trustees. We are going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance, and I will ask Trustee Gonzalez to lead us. We all stand.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, it's nice to be back in the newly reimagined boardroom. So this will be our first time with this setup. So thank you ahead of time for your grace as I fumble through the new setup. With that, we are going to move to our public comment. We've got a few public comment cards. So we will start with Joshua Milligan. If you want to find your way up to the front.
Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. I just need to talk a little bit louder into the mic. Okay. So my name is Joshua Milligan, co-chair for the Welding and Inspection Technology Programs at San Bernardino Valley College. I hope that you remember, but I was here last month, and I hope that you remember since it seems the minutes have forgotten that I was here last month. It has been suggested that this was caused by technical problems, but with my experience from working here for some time, I kind of highly question that. However, regardless of how that was omitted, I do want to continue to make sure that you hear the importance of our concerns that we've been raising over many, many years. I've also been advised to come here today and request that the facts presented last month be entered into the record and be made available to the public, so those comments that were made. And it is important to note that I was also advised to let you know that this is important and advisable for when we subpoena you for those records. I do want to recognize at the same time the work of San Bernardino Valley College President Lyndon Fontanilla. She has, since the last board meeting, held a meeting with faculty of the welding program and much of the district management, some of you are in the room today, to discuss two areas of significant concern, two of the areas. There's many areas that we need to discuss over time and have addressed, but those issues we addressed were water in the technical building at SBCCD and the lack of adequate heat prevention program, specifically at San Bernardino Valley College, but we suspect district-wide. And we really appreciate her holding that meeting, and we're hopeful that that meeting will lead to many good results. I also need to thank Dina Humble, Vice President of Instruction at San Bernardino Valley College, for her hard work in procuring PPE for faculty in the welding program, since we have not had that prior to this semester. So thank you, Dina. We really appreciate that. As a quick review from the last meeting, I want to remind you of what safety is. One of my favorite definitions is a state in which hazards and conditions leading to physical, psychological, or material harm are controlled in order to preserve the health and well-being of individuals and the community. Another way to put this is a workplace or place of employment that meets requirements of Cal OSHA and California labor laws. Since San Bernardino Valley College and San Bernardino Community College District has not, in my experience, met these requirements, I come to work every day knowing that the work environment for myself, my students, my colleagues, is unsafe, meaning hazards and conditions leading to physical, psychological, or material harm are present, and the health and well-being of employees and the community is likely to be compromised. I'm constantly being told that safety concerns are of the utmost importance and that everything is fine. There are no problems. It's being worked on, or even it's been resolved when nothing has actually been done. I have received many promises about when and what will be done, but there is seldom any measurable results. So I'm asking for the following: a work environment that meets or exceeds a definition of safety for students, staff, and faculty, that the minutes reflect all public commenters and comments made at the last board meeting.
Your turn is complete.
Thank you. That what was said in public comments during the last board meeting be entered into the record, that the board minutes be made accessible to the public, that the board members and the chancellor review applicable ed code, labor laws, Cal OSHA requirements, and implementation of all that apply. And then in closing, I will end with a quote from Mark Twain: "Actions speak louder than words, but not nearly as often." Thank you.
Next, we have David Gearhartz.
How you all doing tonight? I basically came here to support my colleagues representing Crafton in the school district on just needs that the union's been trying to discuss. And I didn't come prepared. I just wanted to introduce myself. I've been teaching the last year as an adjunct, but coming from a long line of different jobs, being a firefighter, working in law enforcement, working in Hollywood as a producer and editor. So I've had a long line of different jobs, and I finally came to this one loving to teach because of all the mentors and instructors I've met over the years. And one of the things that comes up a lot is adjuncts don't have any type of health care. It's tough. I work 4 part-time jobs, and I still don't have health care. And they say through the union that there is funds available specifically for this. So if you can, check into this, because there's people I've seen at these meetings break down in tears because of the I can't really add more to that, other than I really do love this profession. I would hate to, work at a casino later on. It would be probably more profitable. I have one of these jobs that's a high-profile name. I'm a professor at a college, but that and $1, I can get a cup of coffee at Denny's. So I just want you to think about that. And if you have anything to add? No?
No, thank you.
All right, well, I just wanted to show you the concerns that some of the adjuncts are having right now. And, please work with the union and talk to them. This is something that they would appreciate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We're going to check on some feedback that we have on the sound system really quickly, so we're just going to take a quick pause, I think, for that. Right. No? Do you want, turn mine off? It's like a silent alarm. Can you hear it? Decibel, it's. We may not have control over that variable. So with that, we will continue to push through. We'll push through. Okay. So we have no more public comment.
That is correct.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move into our agenda, which the first item is approval of the minutes from our April 13th, 2023 meeting. We do have a correction to the minutes to include 2 names to the public comment section. Jesse Lemieux and Joshua Milligan will be added to the minutes. And so with that, if there are no other corrections, I'll ask for a motion and a second to approve the 4/13/23 minutes as corrected with the 2 additional names.
So moved.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? And a second.
And Madam Chair, if I might just double check, the questions that were just raised in public comment?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, we're going to do a roll call vote. We're going to start with our student trustee, Alexander.
4, aye.
Student trustee, Rosario.
Aye.
Student trustee, I always do that. Sorry. Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Harrison. Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Viracil. Aye. And chair votes aye, so ordered. Keep thinking it's going to be me. Okay, so at this time, we're going to go into our presentations and celebrations. So we're on to our applause cards. So if we can display those on the screen. This new setup, find where the screens are. And we will.
Can we slow the scrolling, please, so we can appreciate the names that were there, please? Thank you.
And as a reminder, the applause cards are part of our agenda packet, so you'll be able to read through those as well.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
I don't believe it was in the applause cards, but if it was, it went by too fast for me to see it. I just wanted to add my thanks for the way in which the layout has been arranged. It's so good to be able to see the faces of everyone who's at the dais. And it was a real problem in the past that we couldn't see one another. So this is really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will applaud that. All right. So continuing with our presentations and celebrations, May is the month where our student trustees, this is their last meeting with us, so we want to recognize them at this time for the work and the dedication to our college district, and as that student voice with us as we really continue to improve and ensure that students are at the center of all of our work. So with that, we've got a token of our appreciation that we want to provide to you. So I'll start. This is just the one that was handed to me first. It might be alphabetical as well. But Robert, so you are our Crafton Hills. I'll just read what it says. Crafton Hills student trustee for your May 11th, 2023. So thank you.
If you don't mind stepping to the front of the dais, we can get a photo with the chair and our student trustee.
Stay right here? Okay.
Oh.
All right. Okay. One more. Yes?
These are very nice additions to a young person's resume.
I do have something I want to say, but you want to do it now or after Paul?
Okay, we'll wait for trustee Longville.
No, I just want to say, these are very nice things to have on your resume. When you're
Yeah, I would like to that we had in DC. That was very amazing because it was freezing the first time we were in DC. So it was a blessing in itself. Next, I would like to point out, I got the district socks on. Yes, bling the district socks. That we handed out to probably just about every congressman's legislative aides, probably wearing our socks to bed, if not congressmen's out there that we met with. So I thank the board for the bling that I've been able to acquire during over the time. And I'd like to thank Angel and Inez for the mentorship and stuff with DC that they did and all of the hard work that they included us in as well. The travel experiences that I got to go to represent the students and the board and the advocacy. Then I'd like to recognize John Longville for his stories of adventure that we got to talk about on our long trip to DC on the way back. We got in trouble because he was sitting in front of me and we were talking too loud. So they recommended that we move when we were in Omaha to different seats so we were sitting next to each other. But it was still exciting and a blessing to hear his amazing stories. Also, I'd like to thank Frank. He has mentored me since the beginning here, kind of took me under his wing, gave me lots of opportunities and experiences. I'd like to thank you, Frank, for you as well as your wife as well, to giving me those opportunities. All the networking things that I've got to do with Nate, with Frank as well. the chancellor. I have enjoyed our meetings. Some meetings we didn't have anything to discuss, but we just kind of told each other what was going on the past month and stuff like that. And I got to share some experiences with you as well. Some of the events that we got to spend time together and stuff and get to know each other as well. I'm almost done. Gloria, for acknowledging me and moments on social media that we have on Facebook. So she makes comments sometimes, or she comes in and she's like, "Hey, congratulations." I'm sitting here thinking, how does she know that? Well, she's my friend on Facebook, so that's how we interact with that. Just everything that everybody in the room has invested in me and the other students, in the room and stuff like that. I'm very appreciative to that. And I'd also like to recognize Stacy and Heather Ford for all the behind-the-scene things that they've done as well that a lot of people don't know about. And plus, they were good liaisons when us student trustees needed assistance or questions, especially in the beginning. They were sent them a text message. They got back to us really quick to fix those dilemmas. Also, all the leadership at Crafton Hills and Valley College that included us in events that they didn't necessarily have to. I definitely appreciate that on both campuses. And then there's a couple, Dr. Spencer, I don't think she's here. She's been an amazing mentor, as well as Erica, our student life director. And just overall, all the trustees, I'd like to thank you. I have several different and stuff that we've shared just over the time in the past year. And last two things, I don't see this as goodbye, but this is a beautiful journey into the next steps that many of us are going to be taking. And I thank you for not being considered part of the group, but part of a family. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to read this one, even though it says essentially the same thing. So Paul Del Rosario, San Bernardino Valley College student trustee, for your service and dedication to the students of San Bernardino Community College District, May 11th, 2023.
I would also like to say something too. Yes, thank you to all the trustees here for all your support, and also to San Bernardino Valley College Foundation, Dr. Ray Carlos, everyone in student government, my predecessor, Elena Sanchez, and Nelva Ruiz Martinez and Diami Ruiz Martinez, President and Vice President. Diami will be replacing me next month, and also, I'd like to give thanks to the good Lord Jesus Christ for allowing for me to be here and be part of this. Thank you.
So again, thank you for your service, and thank you for ensuring that we keep our students at the center of our work and the commitment to that sense of belonging, voice, and choice with our students. So, Trustee Reyes.
Yeah, I just want to, on behalf of from the board's perspective, having worked with the students having gone to Washington, D.C., I can tell you that going to Washington, D.C. and bringing these students that are very well-informed, some of the people thought that Robert was one of the professors at one time because he conducted himself so well. He does his homework, and that really helps a lot because when we present something to the congressional people or the Assembly or the Senate here in California, they really listen to the students. The students is a strong voice, and it's so refreshing. I remember I was here when we first had the first student board of trustee back, 200 years ago, and they were intimidated, and because it was new. But with these individuals, they've done a real good job, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to miss both of them. Robert, you've gone with me to a couple of the functions, and you have done just a tremendous job in informing and convincing, and so we're gonna miss you. You're gonna do other things, but stay connected because I think that you've opened up opportunities for yourself, not only for yourselves, for paid internships that you've advocated for students. So I think it's wonderful.
With that, we will move on to the business of the board. And so our first action agenda item will be our board policies. I will look for a motion and a second before any discussion on final approval of board policies.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I second. And a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, we'll conduct a roll call vote. Student trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Student trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Vercel.
Aye.
And chair votes aye, and so ordered. On to item B, which is public hearing and acknowledgement of initial proposals to reopen negotiations with the CSEA Chapter 291. I will now open up a hearing for public comment on the initial proposals to reopen negotiations between CSEA Chapter 291 and the district, as proposed by the district Article 13 evaluation procedure. Are there any comments from the public? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Having conducted the public hearing pursuant to Government Code 3547, I can look for a motion and a second now to acknowledge the proposal and for the parties to negotiation. So we're looking for. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. With that, we will conduct a roll call vote. Student trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Student trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Vercel.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, and so ordered. We are on to item C, which is public hearing and acknowledgement of initial proposals to reopen negotiations with POA. So I will open the hearing for the public comment on the initial proposals to reopen negotiations between the POA and the district, as proposed by the district Article 13 evaluation procedure. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Having conducted the public hearing pursuant to Government Code 3547, I would like a motion and a second to acknowledge the proposal and for the parties to commence negotiations. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we will go to a roll call vote. Student trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Student trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Vercel.
Aye.
And chair votes aye, and so ordered. We are now on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is expected to be routine and non-controversial. It will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or citizen may request that an item be removed from this section for discussion. So with that, are there any items to be removed from this section? Okay, so that with that, I will look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor, we will conduct a roll call vote. Student trustee Alexander.
Aye.
Student trustee Del Rosario.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez. Trustee Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Vercel.
Since I can't second it, aye.
Okay. And the chair votes aye. So ordered. With that, we are on to, so our first report from the board committee and activity reports will be our board finance committee. So we have trustee Gonzalez.
We had an outstanding presentation today about the local control and accountability plan that was delivered by Karen Strong from the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools office, and she is the director for LCAP support and advisory services. And it was a great learning experience, I think, for all of us who were there to see how we can reimagine some of the things that we're doing to align with what the county school districts are doing, and then also see where the opportunities are where we can learn. And that's my report.
Thank you.
That was quick.
And with that, we will move to Trustee Reyes for the Board Legislative Committee report.
Well, we had a very good, successful report as well, a meeting. As all of you know, we recently went to Washington, D.C., and we had meetings with the elected officials, basically to continue to advocate for more funding for the different programs that we have here. So we took a delegation of students and faculty and staff, and we met with different departments, the Department of Education, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Housing, and so forth. Now, in each of these federal agencies, we have to understand that even though we're in higher education, when it comes to grants, if we can fit it in there, that we can get some monies, we will. The Department of Energy is a good example. They have quite a bit of money, and one of the things that they're talking about is workforce development. As a matter of fact, I think I should have just given you an opportunity, and perhaps you can tell us a little bit of your experience. Since we also had we had two veterans, and let me finish this, and then you can provide some other things. But it was extremely beneficial, very informative. Again, the students did a real good job. We met with the Department of EDA, and EDA, we're applying for the $3.5 million, and it was perfect timing. And I think it was Inez and Angel that set up the meeting with this young man that is really the chief of staff that is going to decide to some degree if we're going to get those funds. And Diana, and they did a good report. Dr. Ornelas submitted that, and I think it's looking very good that we're going to be getting $3.5 million to do the EDA grant. So that's the whole purpose of going to Washington or going to Sacramento, is that to advocate for funding. That's what I take a lot of pride, because we can be talking about a lot of things, but if we don't have the resources, we can't do anything. So this was a very good team effort, and it was extremely well. Let me finish this, and I'd like to hear your comments, Chairwoman, and then also Longville. We also had some incidents that happened coming back. We lost our flight, so we had to stay over, and it created a little bit of a problems. But we were mature enough to be able to handle that, including John Longville, who had some problems with his back, and we had to stay over and so forth. But anyway, we did well from that perspective. We missed an important meeting that was held here by Angel, which is the CalFresh, and I'd like to have perhaps the Chancellor give a brief report in regards to the outcome of that, because I understand that I saw the pictures and that was very well attended. And again, our college district, our leadership is really the leaders that we brought them together. They met at Crafton Hills College. Dr. Oren, thank you so much for hosting that. It looked really nice. It looked like, to be honest with you, it looked like an international conference. And I liked the way you had the flags around. Hopefully that would, remember always, it could be a fun thing, but if we don't get monies, it's not good for me. So thank you. So we're going to try to see if we can get some monies or some grants available to turn it over to our, Diana, can you give us a little bit of report on regards to the CalFresh?
How about if we go to Trustee Longville? Did you have any additions for the Haku visit that you'd like to add?
Only that, excuse me, put my mic on there. Only that, although we took advantage of the fact that both houses were in session, and it was great to be in DC, which I hadn't done for quite a while, primarily because of COVID. But I didn't actually register for the conference because no need to spend that extra money when I mostly went on individual visits to individual members. The one thing that I did find was just coincidence. I had the pleasure of meeting for the first time one of our area members of Congress, Dr. Ruiz, who's from the Imperial County area, and he happens to have the same office number as Congressman George Brown had, 2342 Rayburn, when I last worked in DC. So which he didn't realize until I told him that. So it was I wanted to note that this particular board of trustees and this particular district right now is in an unusual situation. We are very, very well connected to our legislators both in DC and in Sacramento. And we need to fully take advantage of it because it's going to go away. This is and I know I've said this many times, but I just want to make sure folks recognize, expect a lot of us. As Frank is talking about, getting grants. We're working our butts off to get those grants, and we should be able to do it. We've got the relationships. We should be doing better than most districts, significantly, and we are. And it's partly because of that. So I really appreciate the efforts. I feel very fortunate to be on this particular board of trustees with these members and with this outstanding staff that we have serving the people of this district. And, thank you very much, Madam Chair.
And I'll just add just a little bit to
Sure.
specifically to the conference, the HAKU conference, and being there. One of the things that was extremely exciting for me was that it was a relatively small number, I mean, relatively speaking, about 400 people when you talk about a national conference, but the executive director was able to secure 4 of President Biden's executive cabinet members to speak to us. So we had the opportunity to hear in a very intimate setting, relatively speaking, from these cabinet members on the priorities of the next several years, and specifically some of the investments that are being made. And the thing that stuck out to me the most was they all reinforced each other's commitment and this idea of collectively identifying the leverage points that are going to make the biggest difference, and the way to do that will be to work together. And it was really this, I put it in quotes, like all of us approach to the work. And that was really impressive. And beyond that, they were able to speak to the economic shock based on the historic disinvestment in our communities, and that part of the $600 billion infrastructure bill is intended to restore some of that disinvestment. And so that was exciting to hear as well. And then for us to be able to connect the work that we're doing to the potential, and having our team there and having students there and having the opportunity for our students to meet these executive cabinet level people was really impressive. And then the last thing that I'll end with regard to HAKU that I walked away with related to workforce was over and over again, we heard the data and the information with regard to the needs of the workforce, and specifically tied to the work of HAKU, that 78% of our workforce within the next 15 years is going to come from the need to invest in our institutions and invest in our colleges and universities and invest in our K-12 system. Was able to play dual hats in that our county superintendent, Ted Alejandre, also serves on the HAKU executive board to represent K-12 education. So to continue that conversation, really, and piggybacking on the presentation that we had today of creating seamless systems for our students so that they can be successful. So it was really very powerful. So thank you for.
Thank you. Well, you know, and it was important for me to see you there and for you to participate, Stephanie, because you wear two hats, and you're absolutely correct. It's the K through 12. See, we don't have a strong relationship, meaning for grants, that we do now. And with Ted being there, one of the leaders, I think we're going to continue to do that. I've been doing this for many years, so I get excited anytime I have a chance to go to Washington, because that's where the money is, and that's how we get students if we don't have the right conditions in terms of the buildings and so forth. So I thought it was very good. And by the way, again, being a Hispanic serving institution does not mean that you just serve the Hispanic students. It's for anybody and everybody that goes there. And so we're taking a page of the success of the historically black colleges, because they're doing wonderful. And they're getting quite a bit of money in regards to the infrastructure. And in terms of, obviously, they have a strong Vice President Harris, who went to a HBCU, and they see that the benefit of getting monies to invest on that. That's the future workforce. So that's really good. And we are going to capitalize, because Just at 40 talks about workforce development. So I'm going to be working with Joseph, because Joseph is, at the state level, is very much on top. So it was very good. So I like to give, if I may, Diana an opportunity, because they had a very successful meeting here that we missed because we missed the plane. But so just a brief Cal Fresh, and I know that Angel is also working on that. It's important to know that we're very engaged.
Okay,
Unless you want to give it during
I was going to say
time.
she's going to do it. I believe that's part of her report. Will that work?
Sure.
Okay, we'll have you do that as part of your chancellor's report. So thank you. With that, and it was a beautiful segue to our board of report from trustee.
Meeting is it's a light agenda, but some of the areas that might be of interest is we're going to be getting an update on the baccalaureate program. AB 927 allows the Board of Governors to approve up to 30 bachelor's programs if they can identify an unmet need in the workforce. And so far, I think the president has approved about 10 programs. And what's the college? Feather River. Theirs got challenged. And so we're going to get an update to see how that challenge plays out. But we're getting prepared for round 2. And so I hope we're paying attention if we have a program, and should just be aware that round 2 is getting started, and so we can do up to 30. And so only 10 have been approved, and 1 was challenged because the CSU had some issues with their program. I believe it was something with fire science management and some other programming that they had, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but there'll be an update. So I hope someone just watches, listens in to the update. The last thing is the Chancellor's Office did the attendance decision survey. So they surveyed 75,000 students to find out why they're not attending school. 32% of new students said they're not attending because of affordability, and 33% of previous students said the same thing. And so I want to commend our board, the chancellor, and the leadership team for the work that we're doing around Books Plus and all the other programs that we're using to open up access for students. And hopefully, Trustee Reyes, as we look at funding, we can continue to think about how we support instructional materials for students, like books and whatever else that they need. And so I just wanted to share those 2 things. Thank you.
Thank you. On to Women's Caucus report.
There was a trustee meeting in Monterey, and I was not in attendance at that, but I know they did some things, and I know that our chancellor was there, so if she's going to cover that in part of her report, that would be great.
The chancellor will now.
And I can just to piggyback on that a bit. I was at the trustee conference in Monterey and did have an opportunity to sit in on several sessions that were addressing the baccalaureate addressing housing and the ability to access resources to help address affordable housing in the communities that the community colleges are in. So lots of opportunity for the future as we look at the priorities that we have as a district, and again, how those connect to the priorities that we have as a region. And related to that, there was a meeting just last week that I was able to wear both hats. I always introduce myself as both assistant superintendent and trustee, but it was specifically to address the County Board of Supervisors' priority around homelessness, the investment that they have north of $70 million countywide to support 3 big buckets of work associated with homelessness, including what they call investing in shovel-ready projects. So there may be some opportunities there as we move forward with what we're looking at in terms of affordable housing and things like that. So lots of great nexus there. So with that, the next one is Joint Powers Authority, which is our San Bernardino Regional Emergency Training Center. We did have a meeting this month, and we are continuing as per each month, planning for updating our agreement with FAA to continue the investment in the footprint that we have the San Bernardino Airport right now. So other than that, no other report from our Joint Powers Authority. So we will move on now to the Chancellor's report. You have a new list for us. Sorry.
I do have a new list, but it's absolutely my pleasure to update you on some of the great developments that have been happening over the past month within the district. First of all, we're really excited that commencement is here. It's about May 24th. So that's always my favorite time of the year, right? We get to see the students that we've been helping all year long cross the stage, visit with families, see the excitement. So to come join us at both commencement. So hope to see all of you there. I also want to congratulate our inaugural cohort of the College Corps Fellows. Last night, I had the opportunity to go to their banquet, if you will, and visit with the students and their parents, and the excitement for what they were doing and the pride that they hold for helping our community was just, they put in an impressive 18,000 hours of volunteer work that made an impact on the nonprofits in our area. One particular student had just bumped 1,200 hours of volunteer work on their own. And he said he's not quite done for the semester. So I just want to really give kudos to the program manager, Dr. Ariel Davis, and her team, Freddie, Eliza, and David, for their hard work, and all of this under the leadership of Associate Vice Chancellor Angel Rodriguez. So thank you all so much for that, an amazing program. Adding to my list, the Combating Student Hunger, IE. So a couple of weeks ago, we invited a number of our electeds from both San Bernardino and Riverside County, CEOs of nonprofits, our partners in the K-12 and the university level, to join us in a conversation roundtable to talk about combating hunger in the Inland Empire. And I also want to thank Dr. Haran for offering space for us to do this. If I could show you pictures, the round table itself was probably just as large as this room, maybe a little bit bigger there. We had local assembly from the Senate, from the county supervisors there as well. And when we left, we talked about what is it that we wanted to do. We didn't want this to just be a conversation and everybody on the same page and feeling good, getting in their cars and leaving. So I asked them, what can we do now? Actually, I think what I said is, what can we do right now? Because that's what we say in my house, right now, Right. And we walked away with 6 things that folks were committed to. And I'm just going to, for in the interest of time, but the major thing that we walked away with was a commitment to the county to have a data sharing agreement with our students and services that they can utilize. All right. And that is just a huge commitment on the part of the county. And they were so agreeable. So I do want to thank Supervisor Baca, for just raising his hand and say, yes, we can do this. He recognized that students don't need to keep telling their story. They don't need to keep saying that they're poor. They don't need to keep saying that they're hungry, right? They only need to say it once, and we should hear it. And that's what we hope to accomplish. We will be putting out a newsletter on the other things that we want to accomplish, but that was so huge. So again, I want to thank everybody that was involved in pulling that together. The other items, Books Plus. We are making such a splash up and down the state with what we've been able to accomplish with Books Plus. And the number one question that I get is, what's the plus? What's the plus, right? There are a decent number of schools that are offering, but the plus is all of the other that a student needs to be successful in their classrooms. We are making such a splash that last month I was invited in, I think it was last month, was invited into Nevada to make a presentation on our program, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, and the impact. Just recently got back from Arizona. We're doing a similar presentation on Books Plus. So we are committed to the program. We know that we are currently using one-time dollars, right? And next academic year, we are looking for additional funding on how we can continue having this program for our students. So if you have any ideas, we're all ears. So, the Women's Caucus met in Monterey at the CCLC conference. In fact, it was our reception that kind of kicked off the conference. The Women's Caucus is designed to help women within the community college system come together and talk about how, we can support one another. What are the needs that are there? We also talk about mentorship. We talked a lot about food insecurity and what that meant for our students. And there's a misconception that the Women's Caucus is just for senior leadership within the organizations, but the caucus is for women at all levels of an organization. So if you're I also want to commend our Human Resources Department for just the significant work that they've done in their efforts in helping over 200 employees get trained on our EEO best practices. Over 200 employees. If Christina and her team look a little tired, this is why. This is why. Furthermore, our HR department is receiving recognition for Vice Chancellor Hannon is representing us at the state's DEIA Town Hall alongside with other trustees and college presidents. It is impressive to be asked to join this group and to do such a presentation. Also, Vice Chancellor Hannon and our Associate Director, Tiffany Guevara, excuse me if I pronounced the name wrong, have also been invited to participate in a statewide task force regarding Title V changes on policing. So our district, our HR department is going to be influencing and changing the laws of California because of the impressive work that they have been doing. I also want to take just a quick second to congratulate Brooke Quinones of HR also, who has been nominated by her peers here at the college and recognized her as the District Employee of the Year. So congratulations to Brooke. And lastly, well, not lastly, almost lastly. So I have recently been invited to join the Higher Education Research and Development Institute Board, a national organization representing. I will be one of 50 CEOs from around the nation on this board, as again, we look at policies and things that help influence higher education. And lastly, I want to share an enthusiasm, right, for Maria Elena Lopez, our director's education. See her often because at the Mexican consulate here in San Bernardino. So she's graduating this month with a master's in school counseling from Cal State San Bernardino. And what's impressive with her, not only all of the things that she's accomplished, but she was selected as the Outstanding Graduate Student of the Year by the faculty at Cal State. And she will be seated on stage during her commencement. Just a huge, huge accomplishment. So if you see her, please, please be sure to congratulate her. And, you know, that is just the tip of the iceberg of all of the things that that we've been doing around the district. And I know I have well exceeded my 3 minutes. So I will conclude with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that report. So we are going to now move on to our list of groups, our 3-minute report. Our first group is our San Bernardino Valley College Academic Senate, and tonight we have a written report. So we have that, so we will be reviewing that. So next, after that, is the San Bernardino Valley College Classified Senate. Maybe no report? Okay. We'll move on to San Bernardino Valley College Associated Students. Busy time of year. Next, we have Crafton Hills College Academic Senate. We do have a written report for that one. And then Crafton Hills College Classified Senate, we do have a written report for that as well. Move on to Crafton Hills College Associated Students. Thank you.
Here we go. All right. Hello, my name is Angie Ocampo, and thank you for having me here, Board Trustees. And my report is actually kind of short due to, even though it's a very busy month. One big thing is elections for Student Senate for the year 2023 and 24. And so I believe, like, I don't have like the exact dates, but I know it was the beginning of May. So it was the beginning of May. There was a voting poll, a voting booth, and we offered free burritos for anyone who completed that ballot for the student government. And the next day, yeah, just throwing that out there, vote for free burritos. There you go. Mm-hmm. And in the next day, we happened to have the multicultural event. So it was a multicultural festival celebrating all ethnicities and races. I was actually a part of that, and it was spectacular, successful. I really enjoyed it. And we also happened to have another voting booth, and we offered free boba. So, yep, we tried to attract as much students as possible to vote. So if it happens to be food and drinks, we'll go for that. And let's see what else. And elections is already over to vote. It ended yesterday, May 10th. And the election results for a majority of the Student Senate members will be on May 17th, so in a couple of days. And yeah, last thing, call for the Student Senate president today. And I am happy to inform the Board of Trustees that I will be student government president for the year 2023 and 24. So thank you. I am very excited to be taking that role, and I hope for it to be a very successful year through my lead. helped to lead the student government for a successful year at Crafton. And as well, for Board of Student Trustee, I know that Robert is planning to apply once again. But for that, we still haven't had results, so fingers crossed. And other than that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. We have,
Just to add to that, the food and the boba actually increased our elections by 30% of students, so it worked. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
that's right. Right, if we, currency. Okay, Trustee Williams.
So for just congratulations and welcome. I wanted to say to the SBVC Academic Senate, we met with the constituent groups about reporting, and so they use the format. And so I just wanted to appreciate them for using it. It's clear and it's got good information in it. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Okay, on to our next report, CSEA. No report? CTA. No report. And we have a written report from our Police Officers Association. So with that, we are on to staff reports. And so we have Dr. Humble, who will give the report for Dr. Fontanilla.
Thank you so much. On behalf of Interim President Dr. Linda Fontanilla, happy to report the SBCCD College. Report for supporting board goal number 1, eliminating barriers to student access and success. First, want to report our Dare to Dream initiative. At the beginning of this academic year, we started our Dare to Dream Fellowship, which aims to provide opportunity for undocumented students to gain professional development skills, prepare them for their future career, and receive monetary compensation for their time. We currently have 7 fellows. They are working in different departments on our campus, and each of them under board goal number 1, SBVC has been selected to participate in 2 Chancellor's Office initiatives, Leading from the Middle, which is led by the RP group. Leading from the Middle Academy provides a unique opportunity for cross-divisional teams comprised of faculty, administrators, classified staff, and researchers to develop and implement a project that advances systemic equity-focused, student-centered reform efforts. Ooh, that was a lot. Revolves around the effective use of EAB Starfish to support our student success. And then the other initiative, we were accepted into the Strategic Enrollment Management Program, part of the Chancellor's Office Institutional Effectiveness Partnership Initiative. The SEM program seeks to build a structured community of practice where enrollment challenges and opportunities are examined and addressed. The SBVC SEM project will focus on the creation of an integrated data framework that will serve to support the strategies of both our EMP and our educational master plan. Under board goals 1 and 3, be a diverse, equitable, inclusive, and anti-racist institution, be a leader and partner in addressing regional issues. I want to announce our partnership with the Blue Foundation, housed on the campus of San Bernardino Valley College. We've recently worked with them to write a new degree. This is very exciting. You will see, I couldn't resist sharing it today. So we have a new degree called Social Justice, Advocacy, and Community. It's an AA degree supporting the efforts of the Blue Foundation. Very excited about that. I want to thank Dina Walker, Darrell Jones, Dr. Anthony Blackshirt, Janice Wilkins, and Katie Yarbrough on our campus for making that happen. Now I'd like to highlight, there's so many events going on. This is event season. I want to highlight 4. The first is our Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We had a kickoff event on May 1st. Mayor Helen Tran of San Bernardino was our keynote speaker. We thank her for sharing her story with us, and this was also featured on Channel 4 News. Also, we had our honor signing event May 3rd. We had several students transferring for the first time in a long time. It was our first in-person event since COVID. I'd like to thank Trustee Reyes for attending and for your, it was a wonderful event. Right now, as we speak, finishing up is Techtopia. This event focuses on technology, cybersecurity, and AI. We had Dr. Joseph Bonneville fly from Washington, D.C. to join us. He is a subject matter expert for the Department of Defense. We called in the bigwigs to meet with our students and faculty. We had high school students there. It was a really great event. They'll be discussing AI, ChatGPT, and digital transformation. So I want to thank Dean Stephanie Lewis and her team. Also last night, the scholarship awards ceremony for our students. We distributed over $500,000 in scholarships from the SBVC Foundation. I want to thank Mike Lane, Felicia Sanchez, the foundation board, and the donors. This was an amazing event. I had an opportunity to meet a student that I just wanted to end with tonight. His name is Francisco Ramirez. Francisco Ramirez, the entire time I saw him, which was probably over the amount of 3 hours, the smile never left his face. Francisco Ramirez, currently pursuing an Associate of Science degree in Water Technology. He, before attending college, he was a resident at Mary's Village, a men's program in San Bernardino that helps homeless young men and fathers battling drug and alcohol addiction. He is a self-identified drug addict for 15 years. He is recovering from childhood traumas and self-sabotaging behavior. I'm happy to report that he was the recipient of 4 different scholarships last night and will graduate in December with an associate's degree. So, Francisco Ramirez, we're here to support you. Thank you. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Thank you. So on to Dr. Horan for Crafton Hills College.
Good evening, trustees. I'd like to start out by thanking Trustee Robert Alexander for his service. He's been a pleasure to work with at the college and just been an advocate for students. And I think he's been at more events than me at the college. I want to congratulate on him for his presence and just his leadership this year. I'd also like to congratulate Angie Ocampo for being our new Associated Students President. She'll be an outstanding addition to continuing that leadership for the Associated Students. And for announcement here, Michelle Lee has been elected, following in Robert's excellent footsteps to serve as the student trustee for Crafton Hills College, and we're really excited to have Michelle. Michelle's been serving as a senator at large for the Associated Students this past year. A big thing that we finished this month, just this week, we approved our education master plan, and we will be forwarding that to you for approval next month. That has been a labor of love and hate over the last 18 months, but it is a thorough document that has had the eyes of the college on it as a whole, and we're really pleased with how it turned out, and I'm looking forward to getting your input on it at next month's board meeting. We'll be breaking ground on our new Performing Arts Center on May 31st. Many of you have received the invitation in hard copy and digital, verbally. And we hope to see you there at 2 p.m. to celebrate this new milestone for the college. It is the season of celebrations these next several weeks. It's every day there's something, just to let you ever athletics student scholars banquet this week. We had our first ever lavender luncheon celebrating our LGBTQI plus student honors. We had our Honors Institute Student Awards luncheon. We have our EOPS celebration tomorrow night, our Fire Academy graduation next Friday night, and commencement on Wednesday, the 24th. So we will be celebrating all month long. Regarding goal number 2, being a diverse, equitable, inclusive, and anti-racist institution, I'm pleased to announce that we are continuing our One Book, One College program, and the selection for 23-24 has been announced, and we have 27 different pieces were considered for the program, and this year the committee selected They Called Us Enemy by George Takei, and it's about his childhood imprisonment within the American concentration camps during World War II, and that will be our selection for the 23-24. So I'm looking forward to bringing to you all the programming that will come along with that next year. For goal number 3, eliminating barriers to student success and access, we've made some registration improvements to streamline the process at Crafton Hills College. We used to have, before this week, 6 steps to registration. We've reduced that down to 3 to make it more streamlined for students. We sent out 580 digital acceptance letters to all UKIPA graduating high school seniors, and we're on the verge of sending out 1,630 letters to all graduating seniors in the Redlands Unified School District, as well as a mean to help boost enrollment. And I think thanks in parts to these efforts, the outreach that's been increased by our student services staff and our outreach department, as of Monday, our summer enrollment is 13% above where it was the same time last year. And so all of these collective efforts district-wide with everybody's help is really making a difference. And your support and leadership around that helps a lot. That's my report.
Thank you, Kevin. Good work that you all are doing. Are there any plans for update on the single enrollment management system, that single application system? Do we have an update coming anytime for that?
Yes, at the retreat, that's scheduled as one of the topics.
Is that in June, or when are we meeting? In June? Okay. Can we get an update on the date too? Make sure I'm.
Sure. We'll send it out again.
If I may ask, Dr. Horan, has Georgia Takei been made aware of his book being selected?
I don't believe so yet. We do intend to reach out to him, as we have with all of the selected authors, to invite them to be a part of our programming next year. If you happen to have a connection, let's chat.
Okay, well, it's not a big one, but I've known him for 53 years. I'd like to pass word along to him. So.
That would be fantastic. Thank you, Trustee Longville.
Great, thank you. Okay, next is our Executive Vice Chancellor's report. And I know he's not with us tonight, so I will, yes.
Thank you. Yes, Executive Vice Chancellor Torres is not with us tonight, although he's watching. Did ask that I introduce Ms. Connie Leyva, Executive Director of KVCR, for an update. As you know, one of the criteria within the KVCR's goals is how are we incorporating students into KVCR. So I believe Ms. Ley is going to discuss just that.
Thank you very much, Madam Chancellor, Madam President, trustees. Connie Leyva on behalf of KVCR. Very excited. I'm going to use all of my time to talk about these two amazing young women next to me today. Mariana Lapisco, she is currently a student at Valley College, and you may remember a couple months ago I reported on her participating in Wolverine Con, where she won 2 awards. But what I want to highlight tonight is she is an intern at KVCR, and she is working on the set of Learn With Me, doing a great job. She has recorded promos for us, and that involves her writing them, recording them, and editing them. So she does them start to finish, and they are the quality that we put on the air. She's currently doing research for our Expressions of Art project. Mariana, I just want to say thank you, and we very much appreciate you. And she is also going to be our student member on our newly created Community Advisory Board, our CAB. Our first meeting will be June 14th. Next to Mariana, Wendy Anguano. Wendy is graduating from Valley this year, yay. And she will be attending Cal State San Bernardino, I believe majoring in history. And you want to be a teacher? Excellent, we like that, we need more good teachers. So before the meeting, I believe you all received a couple pieces. You should have received one that looks like this, and one that looks like this. We call them our leave behinds, and Wendy designed these for us. What's exciting about these is for us at KVCR, wherever we go, everyone on staff has them with us. we hand them out, we leave them behind, and we were, I think, quite clever, and we put a unique email on there, donate@kvcr.org, so that way we will know if these are actually working out in the community. When I walked in this morning, I found out that we had a car donated through this particular email, and someone had made a monetary donation. So Wendy designed these start to finish, very impressive. She also took this design, made it into a flyer form so that we can use it when we have different events and give that out to folks to give to people they want to attend. And then just last week we said, Wendy, we need a little sticker. We want to send these out to folks. And within about 10 minutes, we had our little sticker. If you want a sticker, see me. We didn't have them when I gave the board all of your goodies, but we have plenty of stickers for everyone. She also designed the media kit for FNX, and she just recently did all of the graphics for our radio pledge. So Wendy, we appreciate you and we say thank you. I like to say in life, it's the people we surround ourselves with that make us successful. We would not be successful at KVCR if we didn't have amazing student interns like these two ladies. So please give them a round of applause. And that will conclude my report tonight. We have to get Mariana off and running. She's got class.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, Vice Chancellor of Human Resources and Police Services, no report. And Vice Chancellor of Educational Student Support Services.
Just a quick update. I want to recognize all of the work that the district and the colleges have done in becoming a California virtual campus, which means that both colleges are now teaching colleges. The students have access from all across the state in California to enroll in Crafton Hills College or Valley College. And they can do that through this agreement that we've made with the state of California, the Chancellor's Office. And they can do that with a click. And they do not have to complete an application for admissions. All of that registration process has been automated. And so similar to the common application process where we're trying to eliminate barriers, supports that. And so I just wanted to recognize that SBCCD is the 34th and 35th college that has implemented the California virtual campus. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
have a question.
Yes.
In the process of the virtual campus, right, how did the state determine who gets the full-time equivalent credit?
So if a student is, for example, Chaffey College, and they're working and they need a potential course that we offer, they are able to enroll in one of our courses, and we receive the FTS for those courses.
So it's being done as individual courses? Because that was one of the stumbling blocks that we had before when the students enrolled in 2 or 3 colleges to get their classes. Who got the credit for the student?
Yes, we do get the FTS. There are different criteria for a pathway, so the credit will then transfer back to their home college, and so it will allow them to complete their degree or certificate.
So if I take a class at Chaffey, and my home campus is Valley College, and I only take 2 or 3 classes at Chaffey, all of that FTS goes to Valley College?
The FTS of the classes from Chaffey will go to courses will transfer back for the student to earn their degree, and then we will get the credit for the student earning their degree.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kind of piggybacking on Gloria's question, although I had another aspect of it that I wanted to ask about. But it sounds as though, and I'd like to be corrected if I'm making a false assumption here, it sounds as though it is to the district's advantage to have students enroll online and that we achieve a slight financial gain from that. Is that true?
Yes, what other colleges have seen is they have seen an increase in enrollment as a result of being a California virtual campus.
So
So-
it is a
so-
net.
It is. I mean, I think when we begin to think about student success, some of the barriers that sometimes exist is students are not able to complete their coursework or complete their degree or certificate. And so this effort was to ensure that students were completing their educational goal. As a result of that, there are some benefits in terms of enrollment that colleges are seeing. And as mentioned, we are the 34th and 35th college. So there's a group of colleges that are.
It's approximately 1/4 of the community colleges in the state. So I would like to ask if, through the Chancellor, if staff can develop for us perhaps a page that we could post individuals, such as the board, could post telling people that they can enroll in these colleges, paired with information. Now, I don't know what the current status is, but wasn't that long ago, we were 2 of the 4 top-ranked accreditation colleges in the state of California, of all the community colleges in the state. I don't know if that has been superseded by new figures now or what the status is, but there's something along those lines. We are clearly a district which has 2 of the top community colleges that you can attend. And we should be able to pass that information more effectively out as trustees. I want to share that with all the people that I'm talking to on Facebook. I want them to know that they can get classes here, and I want us to get the credit for it. I want us to get the FDS. So
We're happy to produce such a document for you.
thank you very much.
I just one minute here, since we're talking about Dr. Ornelas. I really appreciate what you're doing in the community. I've been told that she's very flexible to come and talk to groups, business people. We were just recently notified that we are going to be invited to come and speak to a leadership group that deals with energy about grant opportunities. And we're going to put it together, and I'm going to let her take the lead in terms of that. But golden opportunity for, this is the business community that says, I had no idea all the great things that, in this case, San Bernardino Valley College is doing. And her leadership has really surfaced to the point where I think that we're being recognized. And we're going to take 2 students, and herself and myself, and we're going to talk a little bit about what programs are important in terms of workforce development, anything that deals with that. Because the community is just really impressed with what the colleges are doing. And, you know, we don't want to monopolize things, but it's about Valley College and Crafton Hills College, but it's also about the whole system. For people to understand that, you know, they live in San Diego. I know that Ann is going to be moving to Washington later on. Even the community colleges, although they is different. But the point is that we work in a system, and I think that people need to know that our system is doing really well. And we have the leadership here at the San Bernardino Community College District. So I wanted to congratulate Dr. Ornelas for being recognized as one of the leaders, and she's going to speak. So I'm going to learn a lot from her. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we're on to our information items. So I'll ask, are there any questions for discussion?
Madam Chair, I just purely an observation, and it playing off of, or it relates to the discussion that Trustee Reyes led earlier about the importance of HAKU and our role within it, and how HAKU is expanding its role as the Black colleges dramatically altered. Their growth has been tremendous. But this trip back to DC for the first time in a while kind of was an eye-opening experience for me personally about the fact that how much our demographics are changing nationally, in that, keep in mind, soy un hijito de los barrios de Minnesota.
Right.
But,
I got it.
Yeah, but
I got it.
And we didn't have any Mexican restaurants in the Twin Cities when I was growing up. Moved to California, loved Mexican food, moved back to DC in '72. There wasn't a Mexican restaurant anywhere in the District of Columbia. The closest was in Arlington, Virginia. Just the block around the corner from where I used to live on Pennsylvania Avenue, 3 Mexican restaurants on Pennsylvania Avenue around the corner from where I used to live. One of them was a bar, but it was bar restaurant. This country's changing dramatically, and it's wonderful to see the diversity. It's just amazing, and it's not just California; it's all over. Just was a wonderful experience.
Trustee Williams.
I almost
Question.
forgot what my question was.
I'm sorry, Joseph.
But Kevin, I just wanted to clarify the report. Did I capture what you were saying about enrollment at Crafton was above the previous point? Because then the apportionment report says that, and maybe I'm reading it wrong. I was just trying to understand the difference between the P2, P1 report, and then what you were saying. I got confused.
So what I was reporting on was enrollments that are in progress for summer terms. So those numbers won't show up until the P3 report. They're not included in the P2 report.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I just, only because I work at the county office and we get all of the P2 and 3, we get all the P reports. Oh, sorry, that didn't come out right. I'll backtrack that. We get all of the interim reports on enrollment. And with that, the May 1 P2 data for the college district, year over is district-wide, we're up 9.14% year over, last year to this year in P2 effective May 1. So with the total 13,384 for P2 in 21-22, 12,263. So
since the information is available, should this report expand and say
well,
projected?
I mean, this was probably.
But should we have a
I just
column?
literally got this today.
But should we have a projected column since we have access to what's projected versus?
I think the reports provide what we have at the moment of print. Yeah, at the moment of print. Yeah.
Oh, but so you're saying the numbers don't come out in time enough? Like he knows now, hey, I'm projecting that I'm gonna be ahead.
So we do a lot of, lately, especially in the last couple of years, we do a lot of crystal ball looking. And sometimes it's the magic 8 ball versus the crystal ball. What I'm reporting on is the trend we're seeing.
Yeah.
Prior to the start of the summer term, which is a promising trend compared to past. So we're seeing a change in the trend, and some of that's due to the outreach, some of it's due to the free tuition, the free textbooks. It's not the actual enrollments yet. It's
projected, right?
It's the trend. We're not, the summer term hasn't started. And it was as of Monday. I don't know what the numbers look like today. I haven't looked at the numbers today.
But when you say the trend, I'm assuming that you're looking at the number of people that are completing applications or something, right? Or
They're actually enrolling in classes.
Actually enrolled.
So, like, can we say that that's a projected number, or because they may not attend? You're saying
it's a positive trend.
Yeah, I don't think it's an exact. I think it's a it's an art science
Yeah,
Because we have projected budget numbers, and then if the money don't come in, then we revise it and say this is what the actuals are. So I guess my question is should the report have projected numbers or not?
I think the number you're looking for, I think, is what is our target, right? What is our projected, what is our target? And that's listed there in the first column of what we are targeting, what we're projecting, that's what we're hoping to hit.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, any other questions on the information?
On a
Yes.
very light note, because I'm a proud grandma, and I expected it on your report from CHC, that Kai Harrison did an excellent job as Captain Antonio in the production of Twelfth Night recently. And from Valley College, my grandnephew had a successful season in baseball. So the Harrison, McQueen, Gutierrez families are very much members of the whole community college district. And if you're not in, if you don't mention them in reports, I will, as a proud grandma.
That's awesome. Okay. With that, we are going to go into closed session. And we do have an opportunity for public comment on closed session. No public comment. Okay. So with that,
I move we go into closed session on the items listed on the agenda.
okay, so the time is 5:26 PM, and I will close the public meeting and convene the board into closed session in the closed session room. All right, we'll convene this meeting back into 6:40. And in closed session, there was no action taken. So with that, without objection, this meeting is convened at 6:40.